So we just finished off talking about how your mod is constructed through the different entry points for mod loaders. So you might want to review the last episode about how we refactored everything and discuss that. Let's go ahead and save everything that we've changed. And now we can get around to adding new items, new blocks, and such. So let's start with something very simple, which would be a new block. I'll just do block. We'll create a new Java class, myCoolBlock, add it. We'll extend block from Minecraft, just Alt Enter, and then create constructor matching super. Very straightforward here. So we have Fabric, Forge, and NeoForge projects to reduce boilerplate code, but there are some things that if you don't want to add an extra dependency, it is actually far easier to duplicate your code, such as registering new game objects. We have myCoolBlock in common. Let's actually just register it directly. And if you don't know anything about registering new game objects, then you should review the tutorials that we talked about in episode 1 by Copinja. So registry from Minecraft.register, built-in registries.block, resource location from namespace and path. This is for our mod, so we're going to do our mod ID, and then my underscore cool block, and then new my cool block. It's block behavior properties, and then you would just set this to whatever you want. Oh, whoops, forgot a parentheses. There we go. And oh, I added it to the end. All right, so I messed up my parentheses here, but here we go. We have registry.register, the registry that it's being registered to, the resource location that it is identified by, and then the actual block being registered here. Very straightforward in Fabric. Forge, we actually need to define a deferred register. So we'll do. We're following convention here. You'll see something similar in Copinja's tutorials. Deferred register of Minecraft blocks. Create blocks mod ID. We have blocks. And we need to get the context that we're being loaded by. Documentation, this is 1.21.1, getting started, mod files. Down at the end, we have mod entry points, and we are providing FML Java mod loading context, just like it says in the documentation. So we see this here. We also need a reference to our event bus. So do public static I event bus. We'll leave it null at the beginning, and then as soon as we can, we're going to do event bus is equal to context.get mod event bus. And now we can do blocks.register to the event bus. And you can clean up all this logic later however you would like, but I'm just trying to show you a very bare bones tutorial. I'm going to do blocks.register my cool block used to be a supplier of my cool block. Oh. Very straight, or not very straightforward as Fabric, not as straightforward as Fabric at all. We're gonna have to do something very similar over here in NeoForge though. Import NeoForge's deferred register, and we actually use built-in registries here, .block. Now we have a deferred register for blocks in NeoForge. So we have a direct reference to our event bus here, which is provided by the multi-loader template. You can modify your entry point for NeoForge slightly. I believe there are up to like 4 different things that you can add to this that are optional, but we're just going to use the event bus for now. So we don't even need to set a separate reference for this as we have it directly right there. But if you need it like that for your project, you could do that. Totally up to you. Okay, very similarly, we'll do blocks.register event bus. Before that, we need to add our block. We can just copy this actually. It's the exact same. Cool. we have a block added in Fabric, Forge, and NeoForge now. Do run client from Fabric here so we can do Fabric and NeoForge back to back. No errors so far. We're going to do a new creative peaceful super flat. We've only registered a block. We have not registered a block item. So we cannot do /give at p my underscore cool mod my cool block. That's not valid at all. There's no item. There's no item for that. But what we can do, set block, reference the block we're looking at, and then do my cool block, or my cool mod, my cool block. We don't have a texture set for it, or block state, anything like that. However, we do have a block that's in the world, and you can see it, targeted block, my cool mod, my cool block. So it exists, and that's the very basics of what we're going over right now. We have something that exists in the world. All right, so we have a block. Now let's add an item so we can actually put it in our hands. Oh, well, yeah. Let me show you NeoForge real quick as well, just to show you that it's working. I forgot that it was going to run right back to back. You should not be doing this by convention. You should probably just go down to these here and use the run methods from here. So that would be Fabric, tasks, Fabric, run client, Forge, tasks, Forge grid runs, client, or NeoForge, tasks, mod development, run client. Do the exact same test in NeoForge. So we're going to do creative, peaceful, super flat. There is no /give my cool anything, but what we can do though, set block, reference that, my cool. And now we have a block in the world and we see it. Awesome, beautiful. Let's commit our changes. Let's add an item. So what is this returning here? This is returning type T of whatever we are registering, which is a block. So we can do block equals that. Import block from Minecraft. Now we can register an item. Oops. You can do this directly, right? You could have a different identifier for your block, which is cool and stuff, or you could have the exact same identifier as your block. What we're going to do here is actually do built-in registries dot block dot get key, and we're going to use the resource location of that block. Makes our lives a little bit simpler. And we're going to register a new block item, which takes the block and new item. New item.properties. And for readability's sake, we're going to do that. Item.properties. So, very straightforward in Fabric. You can organize this logic in a much better fashion if you want to. That's not what we're focused on right now, though. And do something similar in Forge. So, what is this returning? This is returning a registry object of the type that we are supplying. So, you can't just do block is equal to that. Even if you type it correctly, unlike me. Because that is not the correct return type. It's a registry object. So we'll wrap this. Now we have a block that we can reference. And now let's create items, which should take items. We'll do items.register. And we'll do the same thing that we did earlier, actually. Let's make sure to register this to our event bus. And I'm using Alt-Shift to select these lines. We're going to copy these over. So that's replacing this. And NeoForge does not use, or they've renamed it actually. They've modified their system slightly. It's not a registry object anymore. It's a deferred holder of the type that it is. And you can actually be more specific if you want to and do my cool block. So it goes to a block registry, but it is of type my cool block. I hope that's pretty straightforward. Make sure to import my new block item and item. And we forgot to do the same thing here. close this up so you can see all this, and it's very similar. We have deferred holder of a block, registering a block, and then we are getting the block and getting the ID for it to register a block item. Now we should be able to give at p my cool, wow, that's not it, my cool block, and it's a block item that we can place in the world. We're going to go over creative mode tabs and dependencies for registering everything in common for the next episode. We're going to review architecture, registration utils, bookshelf, and a Botania-like setup to show you what we can do with dependencies or without dependencies, and how cursed our code can be just to register things in common.